is going to get better once your perception gets better. And so I really wanted to do this video. At first I was thinking, I was like, you know what? I don't know if I should do a video pertaining to this. But then I was meditating because I was feeling some type of way. So I started meditating. But prior to me meditating, I was reading the Prosperity Bible. Okay. And then I started meditating. One of the things I'm going to say is the best revenge that you could ever do is to become successful. Okay. To become successful, to become wealthy. Okay. And how would you do that? You would find out what your passion is and go to work. Okay. So you can't make him pick those his children up. Okay. One of the things that I started understanding real quick was that you cannot make the your children's father pick his children up. Okay. If he don't want to pick the kids up, and maybe perhaps y'all have a court order and he don't want to pick the children up even after y'all have the court order, then is nothing else you can do, right? And is actually unloving when you keep on going or chasing after him so he could pick his kids up, or keep calling him and stuff like that. If he don't want to pick them up, that's not, it's nothing you can do. Okay. And as I was meditating, I was like, you know what? Maybe I should write a goddamn book about this. Okay. That you can't, hey Whitney, peace to you, baby, peace to you, peace to you. You can't make him pick his children up. So this had came because my children's father, okay, my youngest children's father, um we have a court order, okay. And what made me get the court order is when we had broke up, okay, I noticed that he wasn't, like, we made an agreement. I had told him, like, he moved out. I told him, I said, listen, you every week, if you could give me, I believe it was, I said like $250 for the children, right? We have two children together. I said, if you could give me $250 for the children, and if you could just have the children from Friday to Sunday, right? He agreed to that. He agreed to it. And so what I noticed was um, he had started, well, he was dating before that, but that was like somewhat of the issue. I don't care about if you dating or anything like that, but you have responsibilities, and if you dating somebody, you could bring the children to whomever. Okay. And one of my things was, I said, you know what, before you bring my children around anybody, let me meet the female first. And so before I knew it, he was bringing my children to another state or whatever. And I actually found out from my children telling me that, oh, they went to another state. I didn't even know. But anywho, so one of the things I said, all right, you know what? Just agree. We make the agreement, and you hold up your part of the deal, and I'll hold up mine. Okay, having the children from Monday until Friday afternoon, and then you pick them up Friday into Sunday. And so first it was him supposed to pick the kids up, and then he had sent me a message. It'll be Friday. He'll say, and I'm expecting him to pick the kids up, because at that time I was doing Uber and Lyft, because now it's like I'm, pretty much doing everything. And he let me say this, because he did, let me see. After he gave I think it was like $300 to help me for the rent, and then he stopped it. So once he stopped, I said, "All right, if you could just help me with the children and stuff like that." And so he agreed to all of it. All of it. It was good, right? And then when the time came, whether it was, picking the children up. It was this one Friday. I'm thinking he on his way. He sends me a text message like, "Oh, I'm not gonna be to pick the kids up today." And I'm like, "Damn! Like when did you decide that?" He's like, "Oh, I'm going somewhere. I'm going to this event in New York or whatever." So I said, "All right, whatever." And what I noticed was, I'm working on me too, because what I noticed was I kept on saying the same thing over, making threats, saying, "Oh, well, I'm gonna go to the court," or talking to his family member. "Oh, well, if you could talk to your brother and let your brother know, because I don't really want to go to court," whatever it is. So that was the first thing. Then the second thing, when we had the agreement for him to pay the 250, I remember I was in class and it was the day before he was supposed to pay the 250. He sends me a message like, "Oh, I'm not gonna be able to give you the money this week." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to give you the money." And so I was like, this is crazy. Like every deal that we had agreed upon is like you just reneging on the deals, like all across the board, like not picking the children up, and then also now you saying that you can't help, um you can't even give me the 250 to help with the children. So that happened. And then hey Tracy, peace there, baby, peace there, peace there. And so that happened. And at first, another reason why I want to do this video, because I was like, oh my goodness, I just did a video saying, I love black men, and I do love you guys. I do. But when something like this occur, I feel as though that it need to be talked about, okay? Because it don't only affect me, it affects the children too. Okay. And so that happened, and I was like, I really didn't want to go to the courts. Like it was like, but what the hell I'm gonna do? What I'm gonna do? So then I did go to court. And when I had went to the court, um, he was like, pretty much saying like he wanted a paternity test, and all these different things. And I was like, what? Like, you want a paternity? So I was like, all right, whatever. I figured that was like to stall from him making the payments for the child support. But I said, all right, whatever. So what happened was he wound up, we did the paternity test and everything like that, and the results came back, which he knew because they look just like him. But anywho, so that happened. And after that happened, I'm thinking like, all right, it's gonna be some consistency going on. He gonna be picking the children up now because we got a court order. Honey, that shit don't work. And I'm laughing. And the reason I'm laughing because you have to use whatever it is that you're going through, and you have to allow that to be some type of fire up under your ass. What I mean by that is this: by him doing this, and like the communication, because he was supposed to pick the kids up today, the communication, I found out today his call. So I'm like, damn, like when you was gonna tell me that? Then he's like, oh, well, I'm gonna call my sister to see if. But when I first called, I blocked the number because I figured, I said today Thursday, he most likely ain't gonna want to answer the damn phone because I'm calling him to see what time he coming to get them. And so what wound up happening was I let my daughter speak to him because my daughter, she wanted to see like what time he was coming. So my daughter is like, oh, what time you coming? He's like, oh, the car, whatever, and all these different things. So he's like, I'm gonna see if one of your aunts could pick you up. So I'm like, all right. The phone hung up. My daughter, I asked my daughter, I said, did you hang up? And I believe she said yeah, because the conversation was over, something like that. But then I'm like, all right, I said, shit, let me call him back to see, what's going on? Like if someone is, picking him up. So Tom, I sent him a text. I called him from my regular number, not blocking it. He don't answer. Called him again. He not answering. Then I text him. I'm like, what time? Like you could have told me, Amani, move it. Um, so what wound up happening was I was like, all right, you know what? I'm like that's okay. That is okay. So I sent him a few messages. I was like, you know what? You could at least told me that your call was messed up or whatever it was. You waited into the day that you was supposed to pick them up. You couldn't like send me a message. You couldn't tell me nothing so that was that. Then I got upset because I was like, this is like every time we turn around. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going back to the courthouse. But then I was like, you know what? No. Because if I go back to the courthouse, they'd take some more money from his check or whatever it is like that. But that's still not going to get him to do whatever it is that he needs to do. So I said, you know what? I said to him, I sent him another message because at this time he just not answering. So I said, you know what? I'm not asking you no more on Thursdays when you're supposed to pick them up. I'm not asking you if you're gonna pick them up or whatever it is like that. You're supposed to pick them up. You don't pick them up, that's fine. If you want to be a deadbeat, you don't want to pick them up, okay. But what kills me is now if someone else comes into the picture, okay, that I start dating or whatever, and then later on, much later, I bring my children around a person, and then it's like that's when it'd be a issue like, oh, don't want my children, and that's what I don't get, right? That's why I kind of do get it, but my whole thing is, honey, you cannot make that man take them kids. And you know what? I can't blame him. I can't blame him because when I first found out I was pregnant, right? It wasn't. One second. When I first found out that I was pregnant, it wasn't like he wasn't the happiest. Like he was alright, but he wasn't like I don't think that he was ready for it. Right. And then right after that I got pregnant right again. So my whole thing is you know, you can't, I mean, you could be upset with him, because he not doing his part, but at the end of the day, that's not really going to do anything. I mean, you can keep running to the courthouse. I'm not going to keep running to the courthouse. Um One of the things that I know to be true about the universe is, everything tends to happen for a reason. And when stuff like this happens, it's like you could use this, right? You could use this to empower yourself. And I know it may feel a certain type of way because I had experienced this with my two oldest children. I pretty much was, the only parent that they pretty much knew until later on. Um, but I know how it feels, and it may feel frustrating, but let me tell you something. Whatever it is that you're going through, you are able to grow through it. You are able to use it to empower yourself. Okay. I remember listening to Jim Rohn, okay? And Jim Rohn was Tony Robbins' mentor. And one of the things Jim Rohn had said was he said he remember he met this lady who was a successful executive, right? And I think she was like the only woman that was on the team or something. And Jim Rohn asked her because she became very, very successful. And Jim Rohn asked her, he said, how did you become so successful? And she said, her husband I think they went through a divorce. Her and him went through a divorce. And one of the things she said was, she said she got sick of asking. And she put herself to school, through school, and then her revenge was becoming very successful. So I know it may feel a certain type of way, but let me tell you something about life, okay? I always say this. The most beautiful thing about life is that you have the ability to change your life. Okay. Whatever is showing up, it is not here to destroy you. It is not here to defeat you. And remember that the universe, it really don't care how many times you cry. All right. It really don't care about the how many times you beg and how many times you say, but you told me you was gonna do it, right? It really don't matter, okay? What matters is how you tend to see things, how you change your perception. So I was like, I was a little upset because I was like, you know what, this shit. And the more I thought about it, the more I started being in my feelings. But then I started, I was reading the Prosperity Bible, okay? And I was like, you know what? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Because your life ain't always gonna be like this. Okay? All right? And that's why I say find out what your purpose is, what your passion is. Because let me tell you, when you are focused on your purpose and your passion, if they don't pick the children up or whatever it is that they supposed to do, it'll feel some type of way, but it won't affect you as much. That's been my experience. Like, yeah, I'd be upset or whatever it is like that, and then I meditate. I meditated, and in my meditation session, it was like, write a book. You can't make that man pick them kids up. Okay. And then I said, you know what? No, I'm gonna do a video. I'm gonna do a video. And at first I was like a little hesitant because I said, damn, I just said last week, black men, I love you. And I do love you guys. Okay. And I get it. It could be women too that, not picking their children up. And it's been times where as though, like, if he didn't do what he needed to do, so what I would do, I say, oh, so when he dropping the kids off, he have to just drop them off to school. He have to drop them off to school, or he have to keep them another day, because I got sick and tired of just. And sometimes you could want to be the bigger person, right? Like, oh, I'm not gonna do that to them. I'm not gonna do what they did to me. I'm not gonna do that because I'm gonna be the bigger person. That don't work necessarily all the time. Okay, that necessarily, it don't work all the time. One of the things that you can do is, if you start doing the work on you and find out your passion and get so busy that if they come or if they don't come, it's like a nonchalant feeling. You come, you don't. And that's what I said the last message. I was like, listen, don't get upset, okay, later on. Because I know sometimes guys, and it could be gals too, that could get upset. Like, if the kid is being introduced to somebody else. And I wasn't upset when he, like, just introduced. I felt some type of way, like, when he just introduced, because I said, why you ain't let me meet the girl first, right? And then not only that, you brought him to a whole different state, didn't even tell me my children was getting on a plane, didn't even tell me none of that, okay? But I'm like, whatever it is, okay, but you need to keep communication open. If you know ahead of time, he like, oh, his car got messed up. Well, Monday. Today is goddamn Thursday. When you was gonna tell me? When you was gonna tell me? Friday? You supposed to pick the Thursday, and you was gonna tell me Friday? So if I could give any words of encouragement, it would be, focus on yourself. Focus on yourself. And it's unkind and unloving if you keep on calling them and asking them, when you coming to get them? And they just showing you, like, they pretty much come whenever it is that they want to come. It's like, you start looking at it like, because it's nothing you can do. Okay? And one of the things that we have to understand is you cannot control nobody. You can't, if they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it. Is they prerogative, whatever it is, if they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it, and that's fine. Okay? But long as you doing your part, and that's what matters. All right. And so, with that being said, I love you guys. Make sure you rocking out. Make sure you believing in yourself. And at times, it's like a part of me kind of feel like when stuff like this happens, it's like, all right, is I see a good thing in it. I don't just look at it like, oh well, I see a good thing in it, because I'm like, maybe someone else needed to hear this. Maybe a mother out there, some other mother out there needed to hear this or something, right? And so if you are listening to this and you need to hear this, okay, you could get frustrated, get upset, or you want be angry all day. But let me tell you something. The more energy that you put into that, the more is going to keep on happening. But when you take that same exact energy and focus on whatever it is that you are passionate about, do that. I remember, I'm gonna share one more story and then I gotta go. I remember I was listening to Tony Gaskin, right? And it was a lady who had called, well, she sent him an email. And Tony Gaskin, he pretty much give advice for his relationships and everything like that. So it was a lady who sent him an email, and she was pretty much going through the same thing. And one of the things he had said to her, he was like, that's why he always say, like, yeah, you may have, like, that guy may have helped you make the baby, but at the end of the day, is the woman who have to, deal with it, right? Like, have the child and stuff like that, because, the father could just go. And the lady, she made good money or whatever it was, because what he was saying, he was like, yeah, and I see you make good money and stuff. But one of the things he told her, he said, you know what? He said, because the boy, it was a little boy who wanted to know, like, when his father was coming to pick him up and all this other stuff. And Tony Gaskin had told the lady, he was giving advice on YouTube. And he was like, I'm gonna see if I can find that video to put it in the description. But anywho, so he was telling her, he was like, you know what? Yeah. And I think that father was supposed to pick that child up on Thursdays. And Tony Gaskin was like, Thursdays is like is like pregame day, right? Like going out and stuff like that. That's when it starts, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whatever. And so he told her, he was like, what I would tell him, this is Tony Gaskin, telling the lady, he was like, what I would tell, if it was me, what I would tell him, I would just tell him, like, you know what, like, don't be making promises that you can't keep. Telling our child that you're gonna pick him up, and you're not gonna pick him up or whatever. Like, don't make promises. Don't tell him until you for sure that, like, you are on your way to come pick him up. But other than that, don't tell him that. And Tony Gaskins was pretty much like, start a YouTube channel, and what you do, your profession that you do, he was like, bring it on YouTube. And he was like, you could make a lot of money from there. And he was like, if you focus on that, right? Then taking your child out and stuff like that, your child ain't even pretty much, your child be so busy, and every time, the father called or whatever, and the child is out, right? The child's like, oh, I'm at a game, or I'm at the movies, or whatever it is like that. And sometimes that works, okay? Because I don't know. I don't know, but sometimes that works, because it's like, damn, And there is another story, I believe, yeah, with Tony Gaskin. Yeah, but you know what, as the other parent, it's like nothing, nothing you can do. But I told my children, like, I just was like, because I don't want to be like, oh yeah, your father or whatever it is, or talking a certain type of way, about him. That's why they out there. But I just told him, I was like, I'm not gonna keep calling him on Thursdays. Like, I'm not gonna keep calling your father on Thursdays or whatever. Um because he know what he needs to do. And if you know what you need to do and um what you supposed to be doing, no one should be calling you, like practically chasing you down so you could come pick your children up, right? And so that's just like my whole thing. um but yeah, and it was also a football player. And Tony Gaskin, he was saying, like, I think he was like mentoring this football player or the wife or something. Like, no, it was the football player. And the football player, his his wife, well, I don't even know if that was his wife. I think they was like, I don't know if they was married or whatever, but they had a child. And the woman, the mother of the child, she just stopped calling him. She stopped calling him for anything. She ain't calling for no money. She ain't calling him to pick. She just stopped calling him. And what happened was that then he started coming around, because I guess he figured, like, damn, like, you don't even call me to see, when I'm picking a, you don't call me for money, you don't call me for nothing. And he said, in a football player, he said that's what really made him start, like, realizing, like, damn, like, she really don't need me or whatever it is like that. But to me, it shouldn't take that in order for you to do whatever it is that you need to do. That's how I feel. And to me, it's unkind and unloving, like, on my part, if I keep on saying the same exact thing and I already know that the person is a certain way. Like, if I keep saying, damn, but your communication sucked. It's like, Dina, but you knew his communication wasn't good, girl. Like, you knew this, okay? You knew that, right? And if you keep, and if it's like you keep reliving it because you already knew that, right? And so it becomes unkind and unloving to you, because it's like you saying stuff that you already know. So why you keep saying the same thing that you already know, right? So, with that being said, make sure you guys are rocking out. Make sure you are enjoying life. Do understand that it gets better, okay? And I'm serious about becoming so goddamn successful that, it's like, to me, that's the best revenge. The best, instead of taking them to court all the time and doing all of that. Because let me tell you something about becoming successful. When you become so successful, right? It's like that stuff, it don't even matter, right? Like, yeah, it matters, or it affect them or whatever it is like that, but it's nothing you can do. But you could do something about your part, right? You could do something about your part. And I know, like, money don't replace the other parent or whatever it is like that, but you could do the best that you can do on your part. And that's what counts. And that's what matters. Right? Like I said, you can't get nobody to do something that they don't want to do. If every week they got an excuse or whatever it is like that, honey, it comes a point in time where, so you just like, you know what, this is a regular thing I see with you. And whenever you ready to do your part, then come. But until then, don't, right? And so my whole thing is become successful, and that's why I keep reading the goddamn books. I don't give a damn what I'm growing through. I keep reading the books. I keep reading the books. I keep reading the books, because you know why? When you keep reading the books and stuff like that, that talks about success, that talks about wealth and everything like that, is a matter of time before you and your damn children lives are going to change. So if you want revenge, right, instead of, going to the courthouse and stuff like that, because, it still is really still not going to fix anything, because, if they just take more money out of the check. But that's not gonna overall fix the problem of him, picking the kids up. That's not gonna really fix it. And at first I was like, yeah, but they'd be tapping their check again. But then I was like, you know what? I'm not going back back and forth up there every time. I'm not doing it. So what I could do is I could get goddamn successful. That's what I can do. That's what I can do. Okay, that's exactly what you could do. And instead of putting all that energy into that, okay, look at your life and say, it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. Okay? And believe in yourself. Okay? Believe in yourself. And also know this, where you are today, you're not gonna be there tomorrow. Right? And that's like the really that's like the mother. Let me tell you something. If it wasn't for me knowing what my purpose was, I don't know. Ooh, honey. Okay, because your purpose, it connects you to everything. Okay. It's like you start knowing outlets like start meditating and stuff like that, connecting to your higher self. Not saying that you don't go through things, but honey, let me tell you something. You do not see the glass half empty. You see the glass half goddamn full, okay? And seeing how you could add some more goddamn content up in that glass, okay? And that's how I see my life, okay? You can't cry over no goddamn spilled milk, but you could get busy. You could get busy. You could buy that darn book. You could buy that book that talks about success. Okay. You could get the goddamn prosperity Bible that I've been raving and raving about. And you could also get Psycho Cybernetics. Okay, and you could start reading. And some may say, well, what the hell is gonna do? Well, what it's gonna do, honey, is gonna change your goddamn stinking thinking. That's what it's gonna do. And it's gonna put you in a different mindset. Okay? That's what it's going to do. And it's going to have you start thinking about ways to earn money. Okay? That's what it's going to do. Like, by him doing this, it gave me content. Because I said, shit, I know is a mother out there that needs to hear this. Okay? It gave me content. And so instead of, I could look at it and be sad. What? Who want to be sad? Okay, I could look at it and say, "Oh my goodness, life is." Or I could look at it and say, "You know what?" And after I meditated and stuff like that, what I did, I turned on music and I started putting the clothes away that was in the living room. Okay. It put some fire up under my booty. Right? It put some fire up under my booty. And I said, you know what? Okay, our lives about to damn change. Our matter of fact, not about to. Our lives are changing as we speak. Okay, and so do what works for you. Okay, but if you want revenge, okay, right? And I'm not talking about hurt nobody or anything like that. Your revenge should be, how could I become successful? What is it that I enjoy doing? What is my passion? And if you don't know what your passion is, take some time out to yourself while your children are asleep and start writing down what are the things that you absolutely love to do. And it doesn't matter if you get paid or not. Because normally when you first start with your passion, you may not see a cent. Okay. In some cases you may, but you may not see a cent. Okay. But because you love it so much, it's like, it don't even feel like work. Like how I do these videos, it don't feel like work. I just show up. Okay. I enjoy doing these videos. So it don't feel like work when I'm doing the videos. And so when you start tapping into it, honey, before you know it, okay, you're going to look at those situations that you've been through and you're going to be grateful for them. Okay, you're going to say, now I know why I needed to go through this in order for me to be where I am today. Okay, and it, like I said before, it rains on all of us. Okay, no one is exempt from the rain. Okay, but you got to ask yourself, what type of person are you? Are you the type of person with the umbrella that's gonna put the umbrella up, okay, and shield yourself from the rain? Or are you gonna be the type of person that complains about the rain and say, damn, why I had the rain? Look what this goddamn rain did to my hair, or whatever. Or you gonna be that type of person? Because to me, I like being a solution oriented person. I don't like being the type that keep on thinking like, oh my goodness, this happened to me, or no victims over here. Okay, no victims over here. That's right, Tracy. The tough times make us stronger. That's right. That's right. And when you look at your life and start understanding, like, I know why I needed to go through this. I know why I needed to go through this. I needed to grow through this. Okay? And let me tell you something. Your life is changing as we speak. It's changing as we speak. Get so busy with your life that things just don't, it's like you nonchalant about it. Like, oh well, okay, right? It's like, oh, he ain't picking them up. All right, okay, well, you let them know. You let them know, okay? But it is what it is. You can't make nobody do something that they don't want to do. And if every week they got a goddamn excuse about they running late to get the kids, or they can't pick them up this week, or all these different things, or whatever it is like that, then honey, let me tell you something. You just gotta roll with the punches, okay? And when I say roll with the punches, like, don't look at your life and think like, oh, poor you, or oh, you and your children. Listen, okay, is mothers out there that went through stuff just like this and became so goddamn successful, so wealthy, okay? And you're no different. You're no different. And so you have that same opportunity that they had, okay? And I know somebody will probably say, but you keep talking about, yeah, I keep talking about goddamn wealth. You goddamn right I am. You goddamn right I am. Okay? Because at least your part is going to be done. Okay? At least your part is going to be done, because you can't make nobody do something that they don't want to do. Okay? All right? And it's like, I knew this, I knew somewhat of this, like when not when we first dated, but like I said, like when I was pregnant, I knew somewhat of this. Um, so a part of me, I have to look at myself too, because it's like, well, you knew some of this, right? And I can't cry over spilled milk and say, well, I knew it. Like, who gonna beat their damn selves up? I know I'm not, okay, but I will take accountability and say, well, I knew some of this. I knew it was the inconsistency. I knew it was the communication even back then, okay. So it comes a point in time where, so you accept it, because you knew to not accept it. It's like you in denial. So I knew what it was back then. I knew it, right? And then sometimes you like, well, the person is going to change, honey. People change when they ready to change. You can't get them to change, okay? And ain't no baby, ain't nothing is going to get that person to change, because people is like, when they ready, they'll change. And if not, hey, but you can't stop your life because of what someone else is doing. Let them do what they need to do, and you do what you need to do, okay? But as long as you're doing the work on yourself, everything is going to work out exactly the way that it ought to. And you will see it. You will see it. It could be a few weeks from now, okay? A few months from now. And then it's like your life just in an instant, right? It's like it just blows up in a sense where it's so successful. So successful, just in an instant, okay? So just be mindful, okay? Be mindful and keep planting them seeds. Okay, keep planting them seeds, because the seeds that you plant, they're not going unnoticed. So keep planting the seeds. Keep on doing what you need to do, and focus on you and your children. And then let me tell you something. Before you look up, okay, everything's gonna come together like peaches and cream. Okay, just like peaches and cream. All right. And so with that being said, I love you guys. Rock out. Make sure, honey, I keep telling you guys about this book. Okay, the Prosperity Bible. Okay. At first I was about to close it and I said, let me keep on let me keep on reading it, honey. Let me keep reading it, Linda. Okay. And I kept on got through going reading it. Okay. So I'm gonna read it some more after I get out of the shower. I'm gonna read it again. Okay. And I catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.